us or this generation before, the people that are actually witnessing it or actually going through the events as they occur. New things are happening. New variants are occurring. You know, some people are kind of iffy about the vaccination and they're being required to take the vaccinations for jobs, to travel, or whatever the case may be. So you're being taken out of your comfort zone into circumstances that you knew not. And I noticed that now that we do see rain and that the steam does not come from the earth to water the crops like it initially did in the Bible before this happened, now that we do see rain every day, I always remember that covenant that God left with Noah, that he would never, send off all of everyone. He would never kill off everyone with flooding ever again. So every time it rains, I'm like, well, everybody's not gonna die. God is there's gonna be a bow in the sky. There's gonna be a rainbow after the storm. And that's what I'm talking about today. Stepping out of the boat in that moment where, or the season where the issue has subsided, the cause that put you in the boat has subsided. I think everyone's going through a different circumstance in a different area, but everyone's going through something. And this is why I'm sending this message, because the message is saying, don't just die in your hiding under the rock. Don't just die in your covering yourself. I think sometimes when we step out and do a Zoom, or we step out and actually, a lot of people are creating businesses during this time because they actually want to stay home and they want to venture out, but they don't want to get out into what's going on. And I'm saying this because if you step out of the boat, like Noah, he actually created a vineyard when he stepped out of the boat. So here he has created an ark to the T of what God has said to do in 7 days. And here he has lasted through a storm that he has never witnessed with his family, and brushed in all the two of every kind of animal, down to the detail of what God has told him to do, because he walked with God and he listened to God and he was obedient to God. But also with the measures of it, what it took for him to actually step out of the boat, having that faith on just an olive branch, having that faith that, okay, now the rain and the floods have subsided. Now this is the time that I step out of the boat. A lot of people might be saying, okay, so when do we step out of the boat? So when is a good time for us to, go out? How do we know it's completely gone? How do we know it's not another variant? How do we know something else is not happening? How do we know to carry on in life, to move on? I was reading the scriptures last night. I can't tell you which one. And the verse was it kept saying to live. It kept saying to live. And I know a lot of people be like, oh, if you ain't drinking or traveling or doing this, you ain't living. I'm not saying that which specific thing will allow you to live. I'm saying stepping out of that crawl space, that hole that you have put yourself in, that dark place, that depression, that place, that mindset of I can't and so I won't. Some people can walk at the park. I think there are people that have closed, and you could come in on the chat. This is my podcast, and you can come in on the chat and let me know if you have been in a place of closing yourself in. We all know why. You probably don't want to catch it. B, you just don't know how to deal with your internal issues that are going on. And C, you see that's what everyone else has done, and you've yet to step out of the boat and come out and say like, okay, this is a time where I can go to the park or get a new job, start a new business, or go do something recreational, and step out of your house and say like, and it's not even your house, out of a mindset that everyone's against you, a mindset that you might catch it, a mindset that you can't go further and live in the situation or the current circumstances. I love how the world actually was able to maneuver and manipulate the situation and create Zooms for businesses, work from home opportunities to people that don't want to be out in the real world to catch it, but actually still go to work, or even those drive up options to drive up to places and pick up your stuff. There are so many opportunities and ways to actually step out of the boat in this season, in this time, and in this pandemic. And a lot of people are like, nah, I'm not trying to hit it. I don't want to catch it. They got immune. They got Delta, and we don't know what's next. Totally get it that you have some kind of paranoia or mindset of this is not a safe time. This is not a good time for me to move on. I'm just saying this is a good time for you to live, because you don't want to close yourself in and box yourself in and curl up in that ball and never get a chance to live. And we all got a chance to actually live through the circumstances, live through the situation. I know we all got past a year and a half, and there were some people, which I'm going to take a moment of silence, for some people whose lives were lost during this time, and they were actually, family members or, someone very close to you. We're just going to take a moment of silence for them, because there were some lives that were lost. And bless their souls. However, the people that are still alive to this day, you made it through a year and a half, almost going on 2 years of a pandemic. And that is amazing in itself. During the pandemic last year, I had to do a lot of stepping out of the boat myself, like stepping out of a mindset. And I had grew this book, Getting Back to You, because it took a lot of prayer. It took a lot of worship for me to get out of a mindset that I was in. It's so bad I can't even really go into detail, but this book helped me. I would write down my thoughts. I would write down what, hey Margaret, thank you for the love. I would write down the things that I was going through, and God kept telling me the plan. God kept telling me the purpose, and God kept telling me to live and go forward. And a lot of stuff that I do is for mental health, because some people do go through mental health issues on a daily basis, and I have went through it. And that's why I created the Mental Battle, the Gold Mind series, because once you get your mind in order, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. A mind carries you on the course of your life. And if you allow someone else to attack it, or you attack it yourself, or you allow your thoughts to attack it, it can prevent you from stepping out of the boat and living the life that you're supposed to live. Let's say Noah would have told God, no, I can't do it. I never built an ark before. I don't know how to build an ark. And what's this flood? I'll last through it. But you said you're going to wash away everybody else. What I'm going to do afterwards? I think the afterwards is what we worry about, when it's just going through with the process, is what we need to ultimately do at the end of the day. But this getting back to you was me getting back to myself, getting back to life, getting back to who I was and what was a part of the plan. And I was allowing a lot of stuff to download within me and attack me as a person. And I've been watching, like, I don't watch the news, but I skim past it on YouTube or skim past it on my computer when I open up Bing or something. So the news is telling you these variants. It's telling you about the vaccinations. It's telling you about all this stuff that's going on in your head, and all the stuff that's going on around the world, the hurricanes, the floods. It's just all that. And it just gets overwhelmed because you're already dealing with normal life. And you're kind of like, well, how do I step out of the boat? How do I live after this? And what is a part of my plan? What is a part of my purpose? God may not give you everything down to the last detail like he did Noah, when he told him to build the ark, when he told him to be 40 days and 40 nights, 2 of every kind, clean and unclean. When he gave him every detail down to the window, the walls, and every speck of that ark. He might not give you every detail of it, but he does say to live. And what that means is to live in that happiness, to live in that peace and joy of your mindset of what you think or what you would consider living, and not curling up in this place of like stuck. I like to call it stuck, because you're stuck in that position, stuck in that circumstance, stuck in that mindset of I can't get back to who I am. You might not get back to who you used to be, and the world might not get back to what we call normal. However, you can make your new normal. You can make your new lifestyle of living. I listen to a pastor. I love to call him my Papa or spiritual father, I must say, because he is worthy of that and everything else above. But he's Major One and Shepherd Bashuri. I've been reading this book of his, The Jesus Nation. It talks about this new people that God is creating, these new people that God is like, and I don't want to be like a promo, but this is what's helping me, and I'm pretty sure to help somebody else. Y'all could come on the live if you really have some questions or you really wanted something to say. But it's by Shepherd Bashuri. It's actually on Amazon. He talks about walking into that new world that we're now living in, and that how to succumb over the enemy and the adversary. The third book I want to talk about is Let This Mind Be in You, which is also in Christ Jesus. I went through a long time of mental battles, and this is my book, The Mental Battle. It's also on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and BAM, and my website, DallieChiffon.com. And why I'm saying this is because this book helped me get over my mental issues. I always almost want to cry when I talk about it, but I was able to read the prayers and scriptures, and I wrote some of the tools and situations and issues that you might go through on a daily basis: post-traumatic stress, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, any of those issues. This book is very helpful. If you have anxiety, if you're stuck on anxiety meds, stop and read a prayer or scripture out of this book, and it will definitely help you. It helped me. I don't know how else to tell you guys. That's what I did in ultimately reading the Bible, because I'm a Christian. But also taking those words, what the Bible does for people. I don't want to give you guys too much religion. I want to tell you super spiritual, because your spirit, man, is connected with your mind and your heart. And in this process of living, in this process of life, connecting your mind, your heart, and your spiritual being into a place of living in a rightful place. And I know things attack it and things come up against it on a daily basis, and you have to maneuver and figure out a way. And if you don't maneuver right, you might not be able to live right. But if you do capture that, and you're actually able to live, and you're actually able to step out of the boat, taking those scriptures or taking those prayers or taking those peoples that are motivating you, those speakers that are coming to you, taking those words and reciting them to move forward, to step out of the boat, to actually really live, and I mean truly live like the Bible says. I'm super spiritual more than I am religious, because I know that on a daily basis, I fall short of what I might see in the Bible. I've tried to live that Apostle Paul. I tried to be Jesus. I tried to be Noah. I tried to be Adam and Eve. I tried to be all of those people and resemble them as best as possible. And at the end of the day, you're uniquely and originally you, and only you can live the life that you're supposed to live. And that's the plan, and that's a part of the plan that God has for you. And I had to learn this lesson last year during the pandemic, and that's what got me through. Like, my plan and my path, everyone has a book of the Bible, and it's your choice to live it and write it. That's why he said write the vision and make it plain, because you need to actually write it but also live it. You're supposed to be the one that run. You go back and read it, and you run, and you actually do it, and you actually live it, and you actually step out of the boat and go do the stuff that you envisioned for yourself, as well as God. I want to thank you guys. If y'all got some questions, I see some people on here. If y'all got some questions, step in the panel, step on the live, or say something in the comments. Thank you for the lollipops. I'm about to step off. I've stepped out of the boat. This is my suggestion to y'all. Step out of your boat, live your life. Don't allow anybody to block your blessings, block your life, hinder you, destroy you, attack you, deteriorate you, decode you, or any of the above. Don't allow anybody to take what God has actually planned and predestined for you, because ultimately at the end of the day, it's your choice. The choice is yours. You might get a circumstance, and you might lack, and you might have more than enough. However, at the end of the day, the choice is yours to step out of the boat and live your life. And if you choose the right way, if you choose the choice to step out of the boat, let's say Noah stayed in the boat and the water subsided and the boat's going nowhere. And he's in this boat with these animals and everybody don't know what to do. He didn't follow God's plan. Then what would happen? And I had to go back to that. Some people might not be hearing God's voice right now, or you may be. You may have itching ears. But in the instances where he's already given you a word, and that's what I've been living off, the previous words that he has given me that did not come to pass, but today they are supposed to come to pass if I step out and make that choice to step out of the boat, after the fact. We hear those songs, there will be joy and glory after this, greater is your ladder and all of that, but we don't walk in it. We don't have the faith to walk in it. And I'm not saying to walk outside and go touching on everybody. We still have our rules. We still have our mandates. We still have hand sanitizer. We still have Lysol. We still have problems like that. I'm saying to live your life. Don't allow anybody to stop you from growing, flourishing, or moving forward in life. See the circumstance for what it is and maneuver your life around it. Thank you guys for joining, everybody that's on the live stream. Anybody that's on the podcast, thank you for joining Humble to Bold, which is on Spotify. Again, like I said,